Hey everyone, this is Veritas
And Cat Attack.
from Filler Killers, and this video is going to be basically E3 coverage when it comes to the games, and the games.
Yeah.
So starting at the top of the list, we have procured from the internet. We're going to be covering things we've already covered in the last Microsoft video, but that's okay. We can all be adults here. So we're kind of blending EA and Ubisoft's press conferences into this gaming video, basically.
This is basically all Xbox titles right now because Sony hasn't gotten theirs out.
Right, so starting with the first one on the list, alphabetical order, kind of. Assassin's Creed 4.
Black Flag looks interesting, I'll give it that.
I've only seen live gameplay on the PS4, and it broke.
Well, we'll save that for the Sony.
So I don't really know what it exactly looks like, but the graphics to me aren't that necessarily important because I know...
The game looks nice. The trailers have portrayed it as you just being a pirate, pretty much.
Being a badass with blunderbuss.
Speaking of the blunderbuss, apparently they shoot more than one pellet.
Yeah, they shoot more than one time per quote-unquote reload.
He doesn't reload it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He shoots, like, twice. I mean, he goes into a group of 4 guys and shoots both of them twice. So that's an immediate...
I have nothing against the game. It just, that kind of threw me off. It's like, you have blunderbuss, and what happens is he shoots them both, and they just... he doesn't reload them. They pull a DMC.
Yeah, they just reload once in the game, and then you're good forever.
Yeah, he didn't reload. That's what kind of annoyed me. Overall, the trailers looked good. The game looked pretty interesting. I mean, definitely will have a good story behind it.
I know what the next-gen console graphics look like, so I can kind of infer what it'll look like on a good console. But it looks really cool, and I wasn't too hyped for any Assassin's Creed after the first game. I didn't really like any of them, and I played them. But this is the first one I've actually been kind of excited for its announcement, so maybe that'll get me back into Assassin's Creed.
Maybe.
So moving on to an EA title that I have pre-ordered already, got my dog tags on right now, Battlefield 4. I know you're not a Battlefield player.
It looks really nice with its bigger multiplayer maps. Just watching that multiplayer map in the city.
It looks like a campaign mission, like you're flying in on a campaign mission almost.
Basically, I mean, they took down a skyscraper, for God's sake.
And it locked up a flag position. So, like, it just became disabled.
You lost C.
You lose it. So it's like, then the commander mode, I'm not necessarily sure what to think about that. Because commander mode basically allows one person to, like, be on, like, their tablet device or some other, hopefully, smart glass integrated thing, and be able to call in, like, what are those called? Those tactical, moving your troops around things.
Like an airstrike or just...
It's like an RTS, kind of. It's like what Black Ops 2 did when they're, there's something.
Oh, that weird campaign mission.
What are they called, though? Real-time somethings?
Real-time strategy?
Well, they're not RTSs, though. It doesn't really matter. They're just, like, you can control your troops, but you can't really take them over. You kind of just help them. So your teammates in your squad can be like, hey, Commander, can we get an airstrike over here? There's, like, 5 tanks. And they just drop a missile down. One thing I saw that was really cool is I see that DICE is improving their destructible environments.
Yeah,
because there was one point in the game where I was just like, I had a tear in my eye because it was beautiful. A guy turned around and shot an undermounted grenade at a support column for a highway in the subway.
And since the tank was over it, collapsed.
It collapsed the highway into the subway, and then his team was able to take out the tank that fell down with it. That is amazing to me.
That was
more amazing to me than the billion-foot story skyscraper coming down. But that was just cool.
It was definitely a lot better than anything Call of Duty's brought to the table.
Definitely. I mean, the best thing Call of Duty has done when it comes to Battlefield is, hey, look, you can jump over cover now.
We got a dog.
There's a dog. His name's Riley. So moving on, Below. We didn't really see him. That was the very tiny person one. They had, like, the artistic style background.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of looked like a mix between Samurai Jack and Journey.
Samurai Jack,
it looked like, I was like, hey, look, she's going to fight.
It was definitely weird. It was really hard to tell where your character was. I mean...
It looked like it had co-op.
It did look like it had co-op. It looks like a very interesting game. It looked like a dungeon crawler, kind of like
a paper-style dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
Very artistic Japanese-style crawler.
Yeah, it looked very interesting. I don't really have much to say on it. Like, they didn't really give us much.
They kind of just saw a teaser, and the games we talked about so far, Assassin's Creed 4, Battlefield 4, and Below, are to be announced. I believe Battlefield 4, with my insider information, comes out in late October. I believe the 29th. That's just from personal insider information I've procured in the past couple days. So, moving on to the big, huge title that everyone's loving and waiting for, Call of Duty Dogs.
Call of Duty with a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
The dog's name I want to mention, I mean, there's really nothing I can say about it. Everyone's basically been overstimulated when it comes to Call of Duty, so there's really nothing to say. The underwater battles, you use, like, spear guns. It looks bad. The underwater battles.
You get to play the indie game Shark Attack.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of. So the only thing I can say about Call of Duty Ghosts is kind of like a neat trivia fact, is that the dog's name is Riley, and it's a nod to the fan favorite, quote, character in Modern Warfare. Was it 2 or 1? There's 2. The favorite 2, Ghost. His last name is actually Riley. I think his name was like Simon Riley. So it's a nod to his character.
So we can expect the dog to get shot in the head and then burn.
The dog's gonna get shot with a deagle by some crazy dude that's actually pretty awesome, coming out of a helicopter and pouring fire on pouring gasoline on your body. That was one of my favorite scenes in a Call of Duty game, because
that was a pretty big twist.
It was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was a big
Get to the chopper. Nope.
Yeah, that was a big twist.
All right, moving on. A game that looks kind of like, I would say, DayZ in cars.
DayZ in cars.
The Crew.
The Crew, I don't like racing games. I really don't. I can sit down and play them. I've played Underground. I've played, Need for Speed is Underground. I've played just a couple of them.
I played Underground and Blur. If you play Blur, it's like Mario Kart mixed with Need for Speed. It's fantastic.
But the Crew it looks really nice. It just has a nice blend of
GTA and awesome badassness.
It's just the car customization, the trailer. The trailer hooked me on the game.
The trailer was probably one of my favorite trailers from E3. It's just like the song was really good, and then just like the building of the car from like the ground up was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect from the trailer when the first tire rolled out, and I was like, "What are we watching?" I'm like, "Oh, the tires are rolling away. It's just going to be a racing game.
It's just going to be like another Forza or something." And it was just like, wow, I think it's just North America, just America, the United States. I think it's just set there, and it's like an MMO, really.
It's just open world.
It's open world, and you can like call your friends in, and like their cars will just drive out of things, and like you're there, and you can like work together on like challenges and stuff, and it looks really neat. You can like race your friends and like time challenges, and I heard it's like amazingly customizable.
It looks like it. I mean, it looks really nice.
I want a badass off-road car that's colored purple and pink, so I can just be like, dan, fuck you. Just have an awesome car. Forgot to mention Call of Duty Ghosts. If you didn't know already, is coming out on the 5th of November. I can never know what the months are by the numbers. I know them in the Elder Scrolls lore, but I don't know them in American lore.
That's kind of sad. The Crew is to be announced.
Yeah, pretty much everything's to be announced unless we say otherwise. Moving on to Crimson Dragon, which we're thinking someone got fired for because it had no audio to it.
The audio must have messed up, kind of like for Battlefield 4 at first. It completely just cut out, and we didn't
Battlefield 4's thing was funny. They're just like, it'll come eventually. Just be patient. Someone's getting fired after E3 today.
Yeah.
The guy on the soundboard.
I don't know what to take of Crimson Dragon. I haven't seen much of it, and that was really the first I saw of it. If it's been in development.
It has been in development for a while. We heard about that. That it was kind of a game that was mentioned a few years back. That was kind of like just talked about, like leaked. And then it kind of disappeared into the smoke of the dragon flame. And then it kind of came back for E3 this year. You basically control a dragon and you just shoot fireballs at other dragons.
It's basically what I saw from the trailer. I mean, it'll be an interesting game, at least.
There is a game, and I don't know the name of it, so this is completely pointless to bring up. But it's an airship game. A couple of YouTubers have played it, where you are literally piloting airships. I think it's a PC-only game. It's kind of like, it looks very much indie, but I doubt it is. And you can control airships, and it's just basically sky battles, and you can just shoot cannons back and forth and ram them. No idea what it's called. Sorry if I got your hopes up. Can't help you there. But it's basically a flying game and shooting fireballs, so...
That's to be announced.
That's to be announced. Moving on to D4. Nothing.
I don't remember what that was about.
That was the one that had the big white D and then the red 4 next to it. It had you said, what was this about? Because it was literally nothing.
Oh yeah, it barely gave you any intel. Never mind.
So
yeah.
That one, we have no idea. It's by Swery, maybe? I don't know. And that's to be announced. We have no idea. No one knows what that's about.
Yeah, that was just kind of a teaser. It's like, okay, now you.
That was like a teaser.
Yeah.
It was literally the logo flashing on the screen for like 4 seconds.
Dead Rising 3.
It looks. I like the fact that you can put a sledgehammer on a buzzsaw.
You could do that in 2.
I like that you can put a sledgehammer on a buzzsaw. I've never played a Dead Rising game, so I'm stupid, but it looks freaking cool. So, we talked about that.
It looked amazing. I still can't get over how good that looked, and like we said, that's coming out at the end of the year.
And fourth quarter of 2013.
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny.
Destiny looks like a really nice co-op MMO, pretty much.
Very, very beautiful. Bungie did a fantastic job so far working on that game. Coming from Halo, being an amazing franchise, Destiny is destined to be fantastic.
It did remind me a lot of Borderlands. From what I saw of gameplay, I really had a Borderlands feel, but I can't say that because all games look like other games.
Yeah, everything is like, to me, it looks like Borderlands mixed with Metro. That's just my opinion.
Because of the numbers on the gun and the gun.
The numbers on the guns, how they look, kind of like just pieced together, almost for the most part. And just like the environments just look like a run. I mean, they were in Russia when we saw it, so there's really no reason not to think it looks like Metro, other than it's not Metro.
Did they say it was Russia?
Yeah, they talked about it being in Russia.
Okay, that's what I thought they said.
Where they landed, at least it was.
It looks really nice. I mean, and it's an MMO, and it's going to be cross-platform, where it should be Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
I believe so. I don't know if you can play with people from the other platforms. I don't know if it's necessarily cross-platform online, but I don't know. We don't have any information about it, other than it looks beautiful.
It looked really nice. It looks like it's going to be a real blast. And
I originally had issues when they said that you're stuck into a character class and you can't really customize, but from what it looked like, it doesn't really seem like that matters.
You can customize quite a bit, is what it seemed like. I mean, you're human and that's it, but you can still customize your character.
I mean, in the threats, it was cool because it's kind of like The Crew, and it's like all these other open world things now is where you can play individually or with your friend, or if there's a huge public event like a slipspace rupture, and then like these enemy ships come in and attack,
everyone can join in and kick ass.
That or people that are in the world can just run in and join you. This is going to be a long video, guys, so just letting you know now, we're not even halfway through the list yet, and it's been pretty much a while.
You can cut it in half if you want.
We'll be fine. Just do a long one.
1 hour later.
Yeah, moving on. We might stop at the Elder Scrolls Online. Let's stop at the Elder Scrolls Online because that'll be kind of controversial.
The Division?
So the Division.
Oh, the Division. I was like, that's my most anticipated now.
That one looks fantastic. Other than the Halo teaser, that was the best thing I saw at E3.
Apart from Lightning Returns and another game, Battlefront.
Battlefront 3.
Yeah. And Dragon Age. I'm looking forward to those, but oh my good lord, the Division looked like a great...
If you didn't watch E3 and you're curious, it's by Tom Clancy, which the studio name confuses me still. Because it sounds like a person. I just think of this old white guy with white hair sitting in his basement going, these kids liking these games. I can't get that vision out of my head. But, so it's by Tom Clancy.
It's an open world co-op RPG kind of thing. It's like an MMO.
It looks like if you took DayZ and threw it into, like, futuristic New York by about 15 years.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I'm not too sure if there's a lot of NPC threats.
No, it didn't. It seemed like it was more like other players being your biggest problem.
Because there was the NPCs at the cop station.
Yes, there are NPCs. It's all about a infection spreading rampant on Black Friday.
Yeah, it started Black Friday, and it's 3 weeks later, and you're out in New York doing your job as a...
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, it immediately looks like a port of DayZ, because just how your character looks and how you interact with the environment, and other than that, it just looks cool. Just like the gadgets you have are cool. And your friends can join in on their tablets if they're...
Yeah, you can use the smart glass thing again, because this guy...
came in with like a Dragonfire, I'll say, but it was like a little mini rotor.
Yeah, he got in a little remote-controlled helicopter and spotted the enemies behind cover, and it's like, okay, they're here, so shoot through this.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And you have like motion... You have like a...
That little grenade he threw that heat-seeked the guy, that was pretty cool.
It's just like, go little buddy, it's just he rolled and the car explodes. Moving on to Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm not a BioWare fan, so I'm going to opt out of this one.
That game looked amazing. They're bringing back a lot of characters that you know, I mean...
It looked cool as shit, but I've never played it.
I mean, the first character they show you is Varric from Dragon Age 2, if you remember the little dwarf. I mean, he's hard to forget. He's one of the main characters. And then you saw one of the Quinaris, and then you saw the Seeker, which if you did beat Dragon Age 2 or just started it, I mean, she's there questioning Varric throughout the whole story.
What's the name of the one chick that I liked in Dragon Age 2? Flemeth.
The Witch of the Wilds.
Yeah.
She reminds Morrigan's her daughter.
She reminds me of Mira from Gears of War. Just gonna throw that out.
You know the witch at the end of it? That was her daughter.
Oh, was
Morrigan.
It? Everyone in that family I like.
Apparently. But no,
are they good people?
Morrigan is on the fence. Flemeth is kind of
corrupt.
A dragon, kind of crazy.
That's awesome. That's hot as hell.
You're weird.
Shut up. Moving on to Dying Light. I heard good things. I didn't see anything.
Did we see anything of Dying Light?
No. I know that there were trailers released, and I don't know if that was just privileged eyes, like Machinima and IGN, like their insider information, like their journalism stuff, seeing it. I don't remember seeing anything about Dying Light. Isn't it a zombie game?
Yes, it's a zombie game. It's kind of like a Dead Island and
That's what I heard. It was like a Dead Island thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's a Dead Island kind of game. Like a Mirror's Edge Dead Island, because there's a lot of parkouring in it.
Oh, yeah. So we don't really know anything about that because there was no coverage on it at E3 as far as we know.
It'll probably be later in the week.
Yeah, I mean, E3 technically hasn't even started today because it technically goes from June 11th to the 13th.
Yeah, so Dragon Age Inquisition, by the way, comes out fall 2014.
So it's a next year title. Don't get excited.
So heartbroken.
Yeah. And on to our last game.
This one isn't for Xbox. Well, actually, I can't say that. We have no idea what it's for.
Okay, I'm going to take the ball on this one for a second here. The Elder Scrolls Online will be our last game for this video, moving on to the rest of them in the next one probably. It is being developed by Bethesda in partnership with ZeniMax Studios, who helped them with Oblivion. It's to be announced. We don't know yet. Originally, as soon as I say Elder Scrolls Online, people probably think of the World of Warcraft's Elder Scrolls crossover that was coming to the PC exclusively as a giant MMO based in the past of the Elder Scrolls lore. In the second era, when basically
Molag Bal took over.
Molag Bal's taking over and Cold Harbor's being anchored into Tamriel. Those of you that are lore fans of the Elder Scrolls will have a squee happy day when this game comes out, but you won't be impressed by what they're technically doing with it. It was originally supposed to be a PC-only game with beta codes only being released on the PC for those who had appropriate clearance, but it was announced at the Sony press conference that Bethesda was partnering with Sony and bringing it, quote-unquote, exclusively to the console, and didn't mention anything about it being on the PC.
No, they weren't saying anything about that. I don't know what to take from that. I really don't.
Not that you could see any gameplay because the PS4 crapped out 5 times while it was playing.
I have no hope for that console.
So we'll talk about that stuff in the Sony. I apologize for bringing it up prematurely, but they didn't really discuss anything about why they were cross-platforming it.
No, there's no good reason they should. I mean, it's an online MMO.
It was built for a PC, and they're porting it. They're basically just crappily porting it.
They can't play Assassin's Creed 4. Let's see them handle a 1,000-man battle.
Well, and the other thing is, the problem we had with the Elder Scrolls Online initial announcement was them saying that they're going to do something called the Mega Server, or something like that, where it's going to be... They're not going to have many servers where you just have to go find your friends based on IP or just... search options or regions. It's one server that you just join in, and then you can like port to your friends and stuff. So it's millions of players on one mega server, and I cannot see the PlayStation 4 handling that.
No, I don't see the Xbox One handling.
I don't know. That's a PC game.
I can hardly see a PC handling that.
Yeah, that's like future. I mean, that's astounding. I mean, I've seen it happen on the PC when they were actually testing it, like just testing it, and it ran well, but it wasn't anywhere near seamless like a smaller RPG would be that has like an MMO that would have many servers on it. But you can't be expecting anything to work well on a mega server.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're gonna have thousands upon thousands of people battling on one screen, like in the frame. It's just gonna be amazing. So we'll move on to hopefully maybe. Oh Jesus, we're just looking at the entire game list. So this might be a couple videos, but
we'll probably wrap it up in the next one.
Yeah, we might try to wrap it up in the next ones. This one's kind of taking on a little bit longer than we wanted to. So those games are basically what we're going to be covering for this one. The Elder Scrolls Online, I heard, was being put through like alpha and beta.
They're getting beta codes on the PlayStation 4.
Right, yeah, that's the thing I'm mad about. The beta was supposed to be exclusive to PC since it was supposed to be a PC-only game. I've actually signed up for multiple beta codes when it comes to that, and it was being let out in small groups of the public that are slowly gaining in size to see how their server worked throughout the year, starting in like May and working up until fourth quarter this year, and then it was supposed to be announced when they were going to launch it after they figured out what to do from the beta next year. Now, what Sony is saying is that the beta is going to be exclusive to PlayStation 4, which is already false because there's already been beta access on the PC. So we don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
No one knows what PlayStation's doing because they're just kind of going crazy a little bit.
After what happened with Microsoft.
Microsoft, they were a little bit flustered, to say the least.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of throwing things out there, but we'll get to that in the PlayStation video.
Want to do a quick recap of what games are coming on what system we've done so far?
If you know.
I'm pretty sure I know.
Alright, so you want to go from the top of the list here? Starting with Assassin's Creed 4 being
That'll be
a console game.
Yeah, that'll be for Xbox and PlayStation, maybe PC.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be on PlayStation and Xbox.
Yes.
Battlefield 4 is definitely going to be on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yep.
Once again.
Mm-hmm. Below looks like an Xbox One exclusive, kind of like an indie game.
Call of Duty Ghosts
is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
The Crew, I know, is on Xbox.
Yeah. I think that was that one of the exclusives?
I think so.
Crimson Dragon looked like an exclusive.
We have no idea what that's doing. D4, no one knows what that's doing. Dead Rising 3.
I want to say that'll be both.
It'd probably be both. I'm
going to say both.
Well, integrating Smart Glass into it, it might be an Xbox One.
Yeah, well, PlayStation was talking about how they were doing stuff like that too.
Destiny is cross-platform.
Yeah. The Division is both.
Yes.
Dragon Age will be both.
Probably. Dying Light we saw nothing about, but we're probably going to guess it's an Xbox One exclusive or it's a both.
Yeah, and then Elder Scrolls Online should have been PC only.
But now it's PC and PlayStation 4, maybe?
Yeah.
We have no idea what's going on with that. No one really does, so that's the recap for the first few games that we've seen today. We'll continue in the next video, so click the link to follow that over to that video. Other than that, thank you all for watching. This has been Veritas
and Cat Attack
from Filler Killers, everyone. Have a great day.